Reddit, what is your worst roommate story? I was expecting this thread to make me laugh, but now I'm just extremely angry at a bunch of people I've never met. Hey. Our usernames rhyme. I had a roommate that would jerk off while wearing a condom. He then would tie the end closed and throw them in random places in his room. When he moved out, I found them on top of shelves, in the closet, and in the hole on the wall where the doorknob busted through it. An old housemate of mine stabbed me for telling them they were bad at GTA. It seems like he understood the point of the game pretty well. Every time I see one of these I think, oh, I've got a tale. My roommate ate all of my candies. Full stop. Then I start reading some of these stories and I want to throw myself off a building. As in, you guys met some really disturbing people. Read that as candles the first time. My current story, where I'm being evicted in about 2 weeks because I no longer have the money to pay bills for the whole house. One of them blew me off several times when I had to come to him asking for bill money because he was busy getting his dick wet in the third, different, girl that week. Another had been asked to call the landlady and let her know our rent would be late since I had been the only one willing to call in the past. Didn't happen. She got pissed when no check showed up. Same guy also leaves his cat outside of his room with no litter box when he has people over, so his cat pisses in my hallway. Whatever happens from here on out and whatever hardships I face, at least I won't have to live with these CKS. After my experience with this roommate, I am out $4,000 plus. He didn't pay rent, stole and forged my checks, took off with 4 months left on the lease. Before all this happened, we were friends for 2 years. Here's some other highlights. 1. Came home so drunk he thought I was his ex-GF and tried to RP me. 2. Kicked a hole in the wall and shattered my hooker. 3. Ordered tons of PRN on the cable account under my name without telling me. 4. Left his room for me to clean or move out, complete with rotting chicken wing bones in his dresser and a jizz towel you could use to break a window. 5. Stopped paying water bill but continued to shitty in toilet that wouldn't flush. The guy was a pathological liar. I haven't spoke to him since he took off 6 years ago. I'm still going strong, but I can't imagine how he is functioning. 6 boys including myself sharing a house at university. 2 of them used to masturbate in the same room as each other. They weren't gay. They argued constantly. They were just such close friends that they felt comfortable enough to ejaculate in front of each other. You guys don't have masturbation races with your roommates? How else do you assert your dominance? My sophomore year of college, 2 of my suitemates were Craigslist prostitutes. They brought their business back to the dorm frequently. It was f***ing gross. Had a sublet last summer who sounded like AXL Rose when she was having sex, which she did on an almost nightly basis between 3 to 4 am. A guy I worked with needed a place to crash for a week or 2. It turned into months. Went home one weekend and when I came back turned on the TV. Nothing on, so I thought I would watch a movie on the VCR. Dating myself, I know. I hit play and my roommate had videoed himself jerking it to some internet PRN. The only computer was in my room. Needless to say, he left my house that night. I've had a lot of temp roommates over the years because it's easier on the paperwork. Most I've met off Craigslist. I only knew 2 beforehand and both ended badly. Although I have a ton of stories, I haven't had anything super terrible happen. Thankfully. I did have one pretty bad roommate who stored a half-eaten family-sized tray of lasagna in the oven. It was off. And then she moved. It sat there for a couple days until I went to check the oven racks to make fries and a bunch of insects flew out. This was the same roommate who lied about paying the utilities for 6 months and almost got all of ours shut off. Routinely disabled the internet when she went out of town. And let a strange family sleep in my living room without asking me permission. Had an Orthodox Jew as a roommate. He was a pretty chill guy. Didn't bother anyone much except he always ate everyone's food. Didn't try to hide it. Would just chomp away. One day I left a bar of chocolate infused with bacon out. Half eaten, broken, not bitten, and he came into my room munching on a piece asking why it tasted so weird. He freaked out when I told him it had bacon in it, saying I should have told him blah blah blah. He kept eating our food though. I rented to a guy who liked to party with high school girls. He was 21. Practiced fake martial arts. Left F-King swords all over the house. Had house parties every weekend. A few of which ended up in front yard brawls that I and police had to break up. Etc. The tenancy ended when I gave him notice. He tried to push me down a flight of stairs. So I hip-tossed him in the opposite direction. He burst into tears and told me my sifu would be very disappointed in me. Oh yeah. The reason I gave him notice was at one of his parties. His French tea on my carpet. TL. Doctor lived with a total douche canoe. Edit. Thanks for the upvotes. Finally he was good for something. Sifu is someone who teaches martial arts guys. My roommate believes she's watched by demons. She also believes I'm possessed by them. My roommate used my sock as a jizz catcher. A clean sock. I found out when I put it on. Random. Found him masturbating in my bed. With my sock. With my t-shirt on. With my boxer shorts in his left hand. I'd been living with him for 2 months. Had to buy new clothes. Left him a blue eye. Better than pink eye. I guess. He probably would have sucked your cock if you were smart about it. Dude shat on the floor. I still live with my unemployed ex-wife. I had a roommate that got mad every time I asked him to pay his share of the bills. He took tea to his girlfriend's place and acted dumb when I asked for it back. The FK spent most of the time at his girlfriend's place and would leave dirty dishes for me to deal with. He called me a liar when I told him to clean his tea, claimed they weren't his. He also let random people crash on the couch without informing me or even being there. He moved out. Stole a hookah. A bunch of my dishes. Didn't pay the rest of his bills. And I never saw him again. So much for living with my best friend. I still get angry thinking about it. I moved in with a friend and we had to share a common bathroom. Knowing him for quite a while, I'm sure he would have been fine. But he would pee literally everywhere except the toilet. It was on the ground, on the sink, on the ceiling, etc. And he refused to clean the bathroom even though I tried to get him to clean every other week and I would clean it on the odd weekends. Money and alcohol would go missing from my room, so I put a lock on the door. A few weeks later, my door was kicked in. But luckily my money wasn't found. I was sad that the lease was for a year. But I got through it. And decided not to get another roommate again. If I could avoid it. My roommate farts on demand. He actually controls it completely. It's a never-ending story. We had a friend like this in high school. He could suck air into his butt then fart it out. Naturally. We made him smoke cigarettes from his butthole. It was impressive how frequently he could blow smoke rings. My very first roommate sold my husky for drug money. I think I just had the worst roommate in general. JJ was an alcoholic and would throw up in the bathroom sink and just leave it there. But he once topped himself to an extreme. My brother and I lived with JJ. And one day the two of us got home to find my brother's car missing. JJ had gotten drunk and taken the car. When he was out he got a flat tire from driving like an idiot. Forgot where he lived and drove to his previous apartment. And left my brother's car running in a parking lot on the side of the road with the doors open. We found him sitting in front of some random house. I had roommates who never wanted to clean anything. I finally got tired of being the only one clean the white tile floor in the kitchen. So I let it go for about 8 months. The tiles turned a filthy grey and black. After the 8 months, I made a giant pentagram on the floor with Windex and a sponge. He ate all my chips. Literally Hitler. Moved in with a law student thinking that all he would do is study. Quite the opposite, total sloth, stoner drunk. Woke up early one morning. Walked into a puddle of water. And while walking past his room, I notice his lights are on. Door wide open. Shoes, jacket, hat on. Pants around his ankles. Passed out cold. All I saw was hair and flesh. Then he had the nerve to text me, "Did you spill something?" Future lawyers of the world. A woman in her early 20s. Who claimed to be studying when I met her, but after never seeing her leave the house I'm fairly sure she's just on welfare. Spends all day high in her room. Drinking and blasting tea like Nickelback. Attracts a lot of deadbeat guys to the house which she proceeds to have loud sex with. Until she steals from them. Resulting in half-hour-long screaming matches in the front yard. This happens more than once per week. Standard douchebag housemate stuff like stealing food. Being a disgusting pig, etc, etc. I move into a nice house with a close friend in 9 days. Thank God. 1. Friend's roommate attempted to poison him. Friend is gay. One of his freshman roommates tried to kill him by putting isopropyl alcohol in his vodka. But he put it in the wrong cup and accidentally poisoned a different roommate who ended up in the hospital. 2. Different friend. His roommate was gay, which wasn't a problem, and very promiscuous. Huge problem. Friend would frequently walk in on the roommate and his boyfriend of the hour going at it in the shared living space. I lived with a girl I knew from high school for a few months. There are too many stories to tell. But she always left her dildos laying around in the bathroom, and to make it worse she left yeast infection meds laying out too, because I guess she got them frequently, so it was a bit too much info for my taste. Moved in. Got cancer. Dog had puppies. Started doing heroin, crack, meth. Died. My roommate stole my kid's computer and sold it for crack. In the end. Because of all the crack you had. Right? My college roommate dated a total douchebag that would constantly break up with her and then get back together with her. Well, many times they would have screaming, yelling fights over the phone really late at night, or really early in the morning, and then she would continue to sob the rest of the night. Not what I want to hear when I want to sleep. My roommate, who I had never done anything wrong to, tea into one of my expensive margarita glasses and threw it off our balcony. A roommate that would meow at me and ask me to pet her. It was my last semester of college and I was living 2 hours from campus. I made an arrangement to pay some rent and share a room with a friend, bunk beds, 2 days a week. We went to a party and I spoke to a guy she had liked for a year. I literally spoke to him. Just hello. Nice to meet you type business, while other people were around. She was furious and decided not to speak to me ever again in her life. She had borrowed money from me to make ends meet. She would not pay me the money she owed me. And she stopped speaking to me. This was the beginning of the semester, so it was incredibly uncomfortable for me at her house, although I had paid to live there and let her borrow money. So I ran up the phone bill, this was some years ago, on her landline for a few $100s, $300 maybe, the last month I was there. She owed me much more than that. What a bitch. The only reason I came to this thread is to see if my old roommates wrote about me. I am currently living the nightmare of the cliche horrible roommate. She has all of the classic bad roommate traits. Leaving hair in on around the shower. Not replacing the toilet paper. Taking all of the toilet paper when she leaves on breaks. Letting dirty dishes pile up for weeks around our only sink in the bathroom. Bringing over a guy multiple nights a week. We both share one room. Being generally stupid. The list goes on. So instead of getting upset with her, I calmly doused some of her things and did urine and do so many times a week. Let the games begin. Bitch. I woke up to my roommate. In our small dorm room. Yelling WHORU. In his sleep. Bouched my pants. Knew him. Same university. Add on Facebook. Day he moved in, he nailed a sign above the sink that in 6 sentences described the dishwashing rules of the house. It only got worse from there. Some old roommates of mine turned out to be rally attending Catholic nut jobs and also man children. I think the worst was when I woke up to hear a vacuum running, which had never happened before. Upon investigation, my roommate's mother was cleaning our apartment. I frantically put away anything I could find and washed all the dishes before hiding in my room out of shame. A few hours later, my roommate and his dad showed up. Wasted, having been at a sports bar the entire time. He also used wet wipes instead of toilet paper. Weird. Moistened wipes. 1. Don't tear up as easily. 2. Are smoother. 3. Don't leave bits behind. Only the best for your asshole. I wish my worst roommate story involved his mom cleaning our place.